Welcome back to Learn English Hub. Or if it's your first time here, welcome. Today we're stepping back in time because we're talking about the simple past tense. This tense is super important because it helps us talk about completed actions and events that happened in the past. So, if you've ever wanted to confidently tell a story or talk about what happened yesterday, this lesson is for you. By the end of this lesson, you will understand when to use the simple past, learn how to form affirmative, negative, and question sentences, master regular and irregular verbs in the past, avoid common mistakes learners make with the simple past, learn key signal words that indicate the past. Sound good? Let's get started. We use the simple past to describe actions that started and finished at a specific time in the past. If something is completely done, we use the simple past. Use the simple past when an action started and ended in the past. For example, I watched a movie last night. She visited London in 2021. They played football yesterday. Notice that all these actions are finished. They happened at a specific time in the past. When we talk about multiple events in the past, we use the simple past for each step. For example, I woke up, brushed my teeth, and had breakfast. She finished her homework, packed her bag, and left for school. If you are telling a story or describing what happened in order, use the simple past for each step. The simple past can also describe habits in the past that don't happen anymore. For example, when I was a child, I played outside every day. We always visited our grandparents on Sundays. If you want to emphasize that something was a regular habit in the past but is no longer true, you can also use used to instead of the simple past. I used to play football every weekend. She used to drink coffee, but now she drinks tea. Now, let's look at where the simple past fits on a timeline. Unlike the present perfect, which connects the past to the present, the simple past talks about actions that are completely finished and do not continue to now. To form a positive sentence in the simple past, for regular verbs, we add ed to the base verb. For irregular verbs, the verb changes completely. So, for regular verbs, I worked yesterday. You worked last night. He, she, it worked last week. We worked in the morning. They worked together. For the irregular verbs, I went to the store. You ate lunch at 12 p.m. He, she, it saw a movie. We did our homework. They bought a new car. Most verbs follow the simple ed rule, but many common verbs are irregular. They don't follow a pattern. You just have to memorize them. To make a sentence negative, we use did not, didn't, and the base verb. So using the verb work for all subjects, let's look at some examples. I did not work yesterday. You did not work last night. He, she, it did not work last week. We did not work in the morning. They did not work together. Be careful. After did not, the main verb stays in its base form. We do not add ed or change it to the past tense. She didn't go to school. She didn't went to school. Now let's look at how to form questions in the simple past. Just like in other tenses, we use an auxiliary verb. In this case, we use did at the beginning of the question. So the structure is did plus subject plus base verb plus the rest of the sentence. Let's look at some examples. Did I work yesterday? Did you work last night? Did he, she, it work last week? Did we work in the morning? Did they work together? Notice that the main verb always stays in its base form. Even though we are talking about the past, did already shows the past. So we do not change the verb. Did she go to school? Did she went to school? Just like in the present simple, modal verbs do not change for he, she, it. However, in the past, some modal verbs change their form. The structure is the subject plus modal verb in the past form plus base verb. Let's look at some examples. She could swim when she was a child. He had to finish his homework last night. They should have studied more for the test. Some modal verbs like can, could and must, had to change in the past. Others like should, might and could stay the same but are often used with have plus past participle to show past meaning. Many English learners make common mistakes when using the simple past. Let's look at some of them and how to fix them. Mistake number 1, using was or were instead of did in questions. Was you go to the store? Did you go to the store? Remember, for questions with action verbs, we use did, not was or were. Mistake number 2, using the past form of the verb after did in negatives and questions. Did she went to school? Did she go to school? She didn't went to school. She didn't go to school. The verb after did must stay in the base form. Mistake number 3, forgetting irregular verbs. Yesterday, I goed to the store. Yesterday, I went to the store. Some verbs do not follow the ed rule, so you must memorize them. Words like go, went, and see, saw are common mistakes. Now let's look at some common words that tell us we need to use the simple past. These words tell us that an action happened at a specific time in the past. Yesterday, last night, week, month, or year, 2 days ago, 5 years ago, in 2010, in the 18th century. Let's look at some examples. She visited her grandmother last weekend. I met him 2 days ago. They moved to New York in 2015. When telling a story or describing events in order, we use these words. Then, after that, first, next, finally. Let's look at some examples. First, I woke up. Then I ate breakfast. Finally, I left for work. She finished her homework. After that, she went to bed. Using these words makes your storytelling clearer. All right, let's quickly review everything we learned today. When to use the simple past for completed actions in the past, a sequence of past events and past habits with or without used to. And that's a wrap. Now you've got the simple past under control. No more guessing when to use it or how to form it. But don't just sit there. Put it into practice. Here's your challenge. Write 3 sentences using the simple past in the comments. 1 with a regular verb, 1 with an irregular verb, and 1 in question form. What's something fun you did last weekend? Tell me in the past tense. Which irregular verb do you always forget? Let me know. And of course, if this lesson helped you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. The more you practice, the better you get. That's all for today. Keep learning, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.